Many thanks for joining us on the Value Chain TV News Update. My name is Chat Moses. On the news update, the need to harness untapped resources in the mining sector cannot be overemphasized. Minister of Steel, Shuaibu Audu, stated these at the 9th edition of the Nigerian Mining Week in Abuja. Shuaibu Audu further buttressed that harnessing the potential in the sector will go a long way to make youth contributing their quota towards the development of the sector, adding that achieving that is a collaborative responsibility of industry players and the government.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is important to highlight that the focus of the 2024 Annual Mining Week equally resonates with the priorities of our visionary leader, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, especially as it relates to 1. Reforming the economy to deliver sustainable, inclusive growth, 2. Unlocking energy and natural resources for sustainable development, and thirdly, accelerating diversification through industrialization, digitization, creative arts, manufacturing, and innovation. I have carefully perused the thematic topics that will be delivered at this event and the presenters that would lead the discussions, especially as it relates to the policy choices for accelerating Nigeria's iron and steel industry development. I am confident that the presenters' discussants will do justice to the topics and deliver very constructive conversations and shared insights that would elicit progressive engagements aligning with the ideals of the 8-point agenda of President Tinubu's administration, which targets reinvigorating the steel industry to serve as a catalyst for Nigeria's industrialization. Ongoing activities and milestones under the present administration. Following the discouraging history of steel development in Nigeria in the last 4.5 decades, the Tinubu administration has shown tremendous willingness to address the protracted challenges facing the industry. This noble decision of Mr. President is hinged on the following key objectives to be driven by the new Ministry of Steel Development. 1. To lead the campaign for the utilization of the abundant steel raw materials in Nigeria for the substitution of imported steel products, which has been draining our foreign reserves and foreign exchange to the tune of over $4 billion annually. 2. To evolve a regulatory regime that would ensure sustainable steel and other metals production in Nigeria for both local and international markets. Thirdly, to set and monitor quality standards for local and foreign steel products to curb structural failures that we have seen in so many substandard construction projects and building collapses across Nigeria. And then to generate employment and promote technology transfer for Nigeria's economic growth.
In his own vein, President of Mining Association of Nigeria, Dele Ayanleke, commended the Minister of Solid Minerals for achievements recorded in the sector, urging him not to relent in especially attracting more investors to enable the sector compete with the rest of the world.
The present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu envisioned the renewal of the lost and dying hopes of Nigerians. And as an offshoot of the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, our Honorable Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Dr. Henry Dele Ayanleke, set a 7-point agenda at the beginning of his oversight of the industry to domesticate the renewed hope agenda in the sector. Therefore, if we rebuild the mining sector from the inside out to be the cornerstone of our national economy, in line with the central theme of this year's edition, and if the compelling elements of the 7-point agenda of our Honorable Minister will make appreciable positive impacts on the sector, the challenge around our natural resource governance must be addressed head-on. I want to reiterate here today that by the virtue of the spread of the deposits of the various minerals across the southern and central local council areas of this nation, the mining sector holds the ace for even distribution of wealth to the grassroots and for accelerated migration of Nigerians from poverty through the value chain development as encapsulated in the 7-point agenda of the Honourable Minister. It is on this note that we hereby make passionate appeals to our office holders at national and subnational levels to respect our constitutionality and the provisions of the extant laws in the governance of our mineral resources. I wish to humbly submit that this is not the time to engage in unguided and staggered experimentation of a novel governance regime that will make our dream of a highly beneficial economic sector becomes a mirage. To accelerate the growth of our national economy, huge investments are needed. And as no investor would like to fish in troubled waters, this is the time to engender a unified, acceptable, and pragmatic legal and regulatory frameworks that will address and ameliorate all the issues, giving impetus to the present operating chaotic regulatory environment.
The country's oil reserves have declined by 50 billion barrels over the past 14 years. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, revealed these, while adding that oil reserves shrank from 38 billion barrels to 37.50 billion barrels between 2008 and 2023. In a publication, the NUPRC blamed these on the tremendous decline of exploration activities due to a lack of investment by exploration and production companies. It, however, maintained that oil companies' lack of investment could be attributed to the delay in passing the petroleum industry bill, among other factors like the COVID-19 pandemic. Nigerian lawmakers and food system experts have raised concerns about the potential risks of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, advocating for a precautionary approach. Our correspondent Anastasia Adezi has a report.
Some lawmakers and food system experts raised their concerns about the safety of genetically modified organisms in Nigeria. During a public hearing held by the House of Representatives Joint Committee on Agricultural Production and Services, Privatization and Commercialization and Public Assets, focusing on GMOs and the consensus of silos, Honorable Tolani Shagaya from Kwara State highlighted that countries like France, Italy and Saudi Arabia has banned GMO over safety concerns. Amidst Professor Johnson Ekpere's presentation on behalf of a coalition of experts comprising of researchers, nutritionists, genetics, medical practitioners, civil society activists, and stakeholders in food security, he also called for a total ban on GMO foods in Nigeria. The coalition, while addressing newsmen, explained that several studies have linked the consumption of GMOs to a myriad of diseases, including antibiotic resistance, adding that GMOs are bioweapons that have their long-term negative effects on health. For Value Chain TV, Anastasia Adeze reporting.
And on aviation matters, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has assured air travelers that there would be minimal flight delays and cancellations during the festive seasons, saying cases of flight disruptions will also be better managed than previous years. The regulatory agency, while addressing newsmen after the NCAA Consumer Protection National Stakeholder Summit, said with the signing of the Irrevocable Deregistration and Export Request Authorization, operators were expanding their fleets to meet rising demands. The Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Michael Achimugu, urged travelers to report issues of delay and cancellations to the agency. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has cautioned the banking public to desist from using fake Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, SWIFT messages, as evidence of remittance to beneficiary banks. This was disclosed by the Apex Bank in a statement signed by its acting director of corporate communications, Hakama Sidi Ali. The statement added that it has been inundated with claims by private entities, individuals, law firms and government agencies that foreign currency funds allegedly transferred to them by foreign entities have yet to be credited to their account with Nigerian banks. Some of the claimants, CBN said, alleged that the funds were withheld by either the beneficiary banks in Nigeria or the CBN. World leaders have embraced Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, an initiative spearheaded by Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva at the 19th Group of G20 Summit, which ended in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, commercial's capital. At the summit, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said the bold and visionary step underscores Brazil's leadership in addressing one of the most urgent and persistent challenges facing the world today. And finally, on sports, manager Pep Guardiola has agreed to a one-year contract extension, taking his stay at the club to 10 years, despite Manchester City refusing comment on a story that was first reported in The Athletics. Multiple sources have confirmed the 53-year-old tactical genius, who joined the Manchester City in 2016 and has won 18 trophies so far, including 6 Premier League titles. His contract had been due to expire at the end of the current season. And this concludes the Value Chain TV news update. I remain Chat Moses. Many thanks for watching.